Okay, so someone just asked the question, can you talk about the bubble? There's getting it and then not getting it. So the bubble of self-reflection is basically, oh wait, I think I have. Okay. This is exciting. This is the first time I'm using this. So I made this with AI. Oh, this is so good. Okay, so the bubble of self-reflection is when awakeness believes that it's a unit and believes that it's something inside the unit really, but is looking out into the world really looking out at itself through the unit as if it's this unit. So because awakeness is looking, basically referencing thought as the framework for understanding and interpreting what is and understanding and interpreting itself as if it was a self, then because of that process, because thought is constantly self-referring, self-referential, it creates this sense of a bubble. So when awakeness looks through the unit, it sees its reflection in the bubble that's created through thought referring to itself. And so just like with the glasses, saying, oh, it's because the starting point of glasses isn't looked at in the same way the starting point of the self, the unit, misidentification isn't looked at. Awakeness is operating from the assumption that the glasses are what's seeing, or that the unit is what's seeing. The unit is what it is, right? So the bubble of self-reflection is where most people start, where most people live life, really, is in the bubble of self-reflection. Within the process of awakening, and by that I mean realization, clearing, acceptance, abidance, the process of awakening, and that's worked through within Awakening Clarity Now using the living method. It comes up most often with seekers because they come to satsang, or they come to meetings like these, or one-on-one sessions, and say, Bo, I get it that there's no Greg, but I still feel like there's a Greg. Even though I, Greg, know that there's no Greg, I understand this intellectually. But because I believe I'm Greg, it's not my experience that there's just one thing going on. And so, because the puppet, this is a puppet. Wait, oh my goodness, I get to use the other one. All right. Oh, this is so good. Okay, very exciting. So because this is the same as this. This is a puppet, and this is a puppet holding a puppet. So because of the bubble self-reflection, awakeness, using the puppet, thinks that it's the puppet rather than the animating presence that is moving the puppet. And so So awakeness comes to a meeting or a session and says, hey, I get that I'm not a puppet, but I still feel like a puppet. but the puppet isn't doing anything. It's the animating presence, just like it's the animating presence that's making anything happen, anything experienceable. And so when we start from the right place, when we start from what's true, we then have the opportunity of seeing through the bubble of self-reflection. When we start from the space that all of this is appearing within, and recognize that what's primary is what's believing the self-referential thoughts, that the spaciousness, the awakeness, consciousness, oneness is believing thoughts and believing that it's the unit. Then there's the opportunity to see that the unit can't recognize that it's not the unit. Just like the puppet can't recognize that it's not the puppet. The puppet can't recognize that it's awakeness because the puppet doesn't have its own agency. Just like this puppet can't recognize that it's not the puppet. It's awakeness, that which allows anything to be experienceable, that which is animating this experiencing, that can recognize, oh, I'm not the unit. I'm not this puppet. I'm not this puppet. Because I was believing thought, that's what was making it seem like I'm the unit. That's what was making it seem that aliveness, what I am, is contained within the unit, within this puppet. And that's when things can change for awakeness, apparently. The lived experience of itself makes a big difference. When awakeness is able to recognize that it's not limited to one of the appearances that's appearing within it, just like awakeness isn't limited to this appearance, awakeness isn't limited to this appearance, awakeness isn't limited to this appearance. All of these appearances are appearing within awakeness. And so once this, neti-neti, peeling off the layers process takes place, awakeness is able to recognize that it's awakeness, and that what it's been misidentifying with have been appearances within it. And once that's recognized, then the bubble of self-reflection is popped until it comes back again. And the clearing process is in large part aimed at softening this tendency of the bubble of self-reflection to continuously reassert itself. So more and more, it's clear that, okay, like this unit doesn't have to go away in order for awakeness to recognize that it's not the unit. That would be ridiculous. Well, not only is it ridiculous, but it would also be impossible, because this seems to be what's happening here, right? So I might have to really work at this for many lifetimes in order to, do practices enough so that this somehow disappears, and this spaciousness that it's appearing within can notice, oh, I'm the spaciousness. But fortunately, that's not necessary. So the bubble of self-reflection is awakeness believing that it's a self. And sometimes when awakeness believes that it's a self, it also believes that it's the self that knows that there's no self. And that is very funny. But understandable and innocent.